Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can also go find our Overflow channel with our podcast over at Packer Fan Total Access, wherever you get your podcasts. It is February the 6th. I wanted to dive into this offensive line talk. We've been doing a little segment, a little series, I guess you could say, here on the channel called Cornerstones. We talked earlier today about Devontae Wyatt, how important he is to playing three tech for the Packers defense. We talked about Jordan Love and how he's really tracking similar numbers as Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre in the same amount of snaps, or I'm sorry, the same amount of starts up to this point in his career. So now we're going to shift gears and talk about Jordan Morgan and who will potentially play at left tackle for the Green Bay Packers here in 2026. I'm excited to dive into it because Jacob Westendorf had an awesome article he wrote. You guys make sure you go check it out. Again, Jacob Westendorf, you can find him on X. I seen Bill Huber tweeted it out as well. So if you're following Bill Huber, you'll be able to find that article too, talking about how the Packers are constantly moving guys around the musical chairs on offensive line. How is it affecting the way that these offensive linemen play? We'll also talk about something that Josh Sitton said some time ago. Is Jordan Morgan, is he the left tackle of the future? Do we need to continue to look for that left tackle? We're going to dive into all of it here in rapid fashion. Before we do, if you would, do that YouTube stuff for me. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your day. We are not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you, talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified anytime we go live as well. And as always, the best way to support what we do here at PTA is to join our Patreon community, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. So again, go check out this, go give it a click. This article from Jacob Westendorf. I'm just going to read off screen here just a little bit of it. I'm not going to give you the whole thing. You guys go check it out yourself. The title of the article is "Musical Chairs Led to the Packers Being Out of Tune at a key position." All right. And here's what it says. Green Bay Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst was clear during the media availability on Wednesday. He had no sympathy for his offensive linemen having to play musical chairs along the front. Quote, "You know how I feel about versatility," Goody said. We've talked a lot about that up here. To me, they need to be able to play multiple spots, and I don't really care where they think they may be better at. When they're in there, they need to perform. Man, strong words from a GM who obviously has never played the offensive line position. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm a fan, just like you. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a media member. I'm going to give you my fan's take. I hate that quote. Absolutely hate it. What he's basically saying is tough luck, right? Tough luck, guys. You just need to figure it out. How many times are we going to do this? How many times are we going to see this? How many times are we going to play offensive linemen out of position? Listen, I'm not saying a player shouldn't be able to kick in from right tackle to right guard, or from left tackle to left guard, or from left guard to left tackle. I'm not saying that, right? But this idea that Jordan Morgan should be able to, even though he played left tackle his entire career, all right, we're going to play you at right guard. Oh, no, now you got to go to right tackle. Oh, wait, you got to come back to left tackle. If someone can do that, like Zach Tom, awesome. That's absolutely great. That's a huge feather in his cap, right? It makes you a very, very valuable player as well. But really, when you look at that as a whole, to me, that's just we want to know why the offensive line struggled to block last year, right? We want to know if the mindset of the front office is you guys just need to figure it out, you'll play wherever we put you, rather than, hey, why don't we actually communicate with the players? Like, how comfortable do you feel right here? How comfortable do you feel on the right side? Because I know there's some portion of the fan base that doesn't think it's a big deal. Although I love that Jacob Westendorf pulled up an old tweet from Armando Salguero. I hope I'm saying that right. Had tweeted out back in 2018. Josh Sitton just said playing right guard instead of familiar left guard is like trying to wipe your ass with the other hand. Again, if we're just not going to listen to the players and just assume that, a general manager who has never played offensive line, to the best of my knowledge, at any level, understands how easy it should or should not be to switch sides of the offensive line, ask Brian Bulaga. He said the same exact thing. At some point, we've got to lower the ego and start to understand and accept the fact that, hey, maybe I don't know everything about how the offensive line should operate. Maybe we should try something different. Now, in reality, Rasheed Walker is probably going to test the market and get a good chunk of change if the arrest here earlier, I think it was last month, if the arrest doesn't hurt his stock in free agency. So you'll probably see Jordan Morgan kick the left tackle. I'm not ruling out Rasheed Walker coming back and playing left tackle. But if Jordan Morgan does go to left tackle, I expect him to play significantly better than he did at right guard. We've seen it last year, and we're going to talk about all that. But Jacob Westendorf went on to say in the article, nobody on Green Bay's offensive line moved more in 2025 than 2024 first-round pick Jordan Morgan, who started games at 4 positions. I repeat, Jordan Morgan he started games at 4 different positions on the offensive line. Gutekunst was right when he said it would be ideal, but perhaps unrealistic to let Morgan focus on one position, left tackle, in 2026. The offensive line is a war of attrition every season. It's incredibly rare that a team completes a regular season with the same starting 5 on a weekly basis. No one's expecting them to do that. That never happens in the league, right? It's not coincidental that the best Packers offensive line in recent memory was in 2014 when 4 of their 5 starters played all 16 games, and the 5th right tackle, Brian Bulaga, missed only 1. So, yes, it's about staying healthy. It's about being able to keep those guys at their respective positions. But as he goes on to say, is there an answer to be had somewhere in the middle of cross-training linemen for emergency situations, but also allowing the starters to know where they're lining up next to in a given series, let alone a full game? So it's about knowing who's going to be next to you. You know, I asked Tauscher this. I actually called in on Wildy and Tauscher and asked him, like, wouldn't you rather know who's lining up next to you? Wouldn't you rather have a 5, a 7, a 8-year vet that you know exactly what you're going to get at that position, rather than, oh, well, we're going to start a rookie at right guard who played left tackle all through college, who came out of camp playing right tackle, in Anthony Belton, right? I don't think anybody in their right mind would say, nah, I don't mind that. You want to be familiar with those offensive line. And again, it's not about they should never be able to do that. But I think we can all agree that the Packers have done this way, way, way too often. The answer is yes, he goes on to say. The reality is the Packers have done a disservice to their linemen by cross-training them to play multiple positions. It's not as simple as plugging and playing and letting him play. Right guard is not the same as left guard. For example, Josh Sitton had an incredible analogy about what flipping sides on the offensive line was like. And, of course, we already hit that quote. So, again, that article was written by Jacob Westendorf. Go check it out. Now, let's dive into the left tackle position and what the future of that holds. Okay, so Jordan Morgan, in terms of PFF grades, his first 2 years in the league, 2024, somewhat minimal snaps, 59.2. In 2025, at the guard position, okay? And again, he played right guard. I think he played a little left guard as well when Aaron Banks went down, but he mainly played right guard for most of the season until the last 4 weeks, and we'll talk about that in a second. So he was the 41st highest graded guard in the NFL. That's a 62.0 grade with a 68.8 pass blocking grade and a run block grade of 58.9. At 6'6", 320, listen, he's long. He's a very athletic dude, in my opinion. He's a former first-round pick, obviously 25th overall. Some may have had a second-round grade on him. I feel like Goody probably had a first-round grade on him. I think Jordan Morgan has been given a disservice here. I really do. I'm excited to see him settle in at left tackle if that happens. Right now, will they go out and draft a left tackle and then continue to move Jordan Morgan around? If they do, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to have very, very, very realistic expectations on what to expect from Jordan Morgan if he's going to be jumping all around the offensive line. Zach Tom can do it. Zach Tom is very, very rare. He's talked about it. He said he has no problems going from the right to the left. It's no issue at all, right? It's obvious that it bothered Jordan Morgan because you could see it in the grades as the year went along. You could see here, starting in week one, all right, he played right guard, 73. Left guard, 41, 40, 67. What's different there, guys? At right guard, 73.5, and then they shuffled him over to left guard, and he dropped to a 41, to a 40, rebounded at a 67. Then he goes right back to right guard. He's a 69. Okay, staying at right guard for the next several weeks, he ends up going 34, jumped to an 83, fell back to a 70, back to a 51, back up to a 66, back down to a 38, and now he goes to tackle. And again, predominantly he should play on the left side. That's what he's most natural at. That's where he looks the best. We've seen it in preseason. I think he graded out in the 80s. You could see it all over the tape. And we had to curb the enthusiasm and go, hey, man, he looks good at left tackle, but who is he going against in preseason, right? Here were his grades at tackle. Right tackle, 63.2. Right tackle, 79.7. Left tackle, 61.4. Right tackle, 77.1. If his low number all year long would have been a 61, with his high number being a 79, and let's say you split those down the middle, he probably grades out with an overall grade of in the mid-70s. That's what Jordan Morgan would have done, in my opinion, if he had just played left tackle. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I saying he should have started over Rasheed Walker. I don't know if he would have been a better offensive lineman, but I do know now you have the opportunity to save money on the cap, let Rasheed Walker walk in free agency, kick Jordan Morgan to left tackle, and now go spend some money on someone like a Linderbaum and go get your starting center. Let Jordan Morgan settle in at left tackle, stop playing games with him. Now, if that isn't the plan, who are you going to go get at tackle? Are you just going to draft and plug and play a rookie left tackle and continue to move Jordan Morgan around? I mean, to me, I don't like that idea. Here are the top offensive linemen on the market. Rasheed Walker leading the way at a $20.2 million market value. David Edwards is listed as a guard. He played guard all year last year. I don't know why Spot Track grouped him with the tackles unless they know something we don't know. But 28 years old with Buffalo, $19.9 million is his market value. Braden Smith, right tackle out of Indy, 13.5, not interested there. Could you go get Cam Robinson? He's 30 years old, market value 13.1. I would rather see Jordan Morgan. Elijah Vera Tucker, he's 26 years old, played for the Jets, 12.8 is his market. Can he play both tackle positions, right? Can he settle in at left tackle? I still like Jordan Morgan over him, to be honest with you. Jonah Williams, right tackle. You got Rob Havenstein, right tackle. Jermaine Illuminor from the Giants, right tackle. Trey Pipkins, right tackle. You got a somewhat, I guess you could, switchable tackle here in Braxton Jones with the Chicago Bears, 26 years old, $4.7 million is his value. When you look at the free agent market, it sounds like if Rasheed Walker hits the market and gets $20.2 million, you don't want to pay him that. Jordan Morgan's going to be your left tackle, unless, of course, you dive into the draft and try to nab one there, right? So when you look at some of the PFF grades of these players, let's just cross-check them real quick. David Edwards, obviously listed as a guard. He's the outlier. Had a pretty good year, though, 70.3. Although he peaked at 90.2 on minimal snaps in 2023, his average grade, he's probably in the mid-60s. Well, that's kind of what you have with Rasheed Walker, to be honest with you, right? Rasheed Walker, where did he grade out? 63.0. So do you just keep Rasheed Walker if you're willing to go get someone like a David Edwards that could potentially play left tackle? To me, the answer, once again, is Jordan Morgan. Let him play his natural position. You know, Zach Tom dominant at the tackle position, 83.5. If you look at some of these other free agents here, let's go left tackle Cam Robinson. How did he look? Where's Cam Robinson at? Did he make the list? He made the list, but a 48.2. And again, the market value on Cam Robinson is set at $13.1 million. You got Jordan Morgan at $4 million, if I remember correctly. So push forward with Jordan Morgan. Let him play left tackle. Stop playing games with such an important position. Now, let's look at potential draft picks, okay? This may be hard to read. I'll just kind of read them off to you guys and gals here that are hanging out in the chat. Appreciate y'all swinging through. If you would, hit that like button. Just a little surprise stream. Had a few minutes I want to talk about a little Jordan Morgan at left tackle here. So I'm sure I'll butcher some of these names. We're still getting familiar with some of the draft picks. Francis Mawago, if I'm saying that right, from Miami, Florida, 12.9. Guys, the consensus big board has him at 6. Long gone before the Packers pick. Spencer Fano, Fano, you've got him in the 17 spot on the consensus big board. Caden Proctor out of Alabama, 19 spot. Jennings Dunker, we've been able to get him in a couple of different mock draft simulators, right? The consensus big board had him at 34. I think they've got him at 38 now. The PFF big board had him at 44. He's probably going to be gone when the Packers pick. That is one guy that if he's on the board when you pick at 52 somehow, some way, the value on our chart here says 25.8. That means he's worthy of the 25th pick, although he's probably a little bit higher. I want to say he's around the 20 mark, something like that, depending on how the board is settled in today. And we're going to get you that update over in the Patreon group so you guys have access to this board. This is just the tackle position. We've got every position graded out already for you all over there. So now here's what's interesting about Jennings Dunker. You see the cheese emoji here, right? The cheese emoji means the Packers met with him, probably at the Senior Bowl that happened. You guys can go check through Easton Butler's pinned tweet. He's keeping a spreadsheet of everybody that's met with the Packers. We will try to identify them on our board with the cheese emoji so you know exactly who they are and where they are going, okay? So when you kind of look at this, right? When you look at how the tackles are falling into place, the only one that becomes appealing at this point is Jennings Donker. Then you got Monroe Frilling out of Georgia. We got to see, did he actually play left tackle? He may have been a true right tackle. I don't have that information readily handily here. We've got him at a 34.7. He's sitting at 35 on the consensus big board. Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle out of Utah. He's in the 25 spot. Blake Miller out of Clemson. We got him in the 57 spot. Now you're getting in that range where he might be available. 41.8 if he has left tackle experience. Maybe you go out and take a swing on him in the second round. I don't know. Caleb Tiernan pops up here to 53.3 grade. He's sitting in the 51 spot on the consensus big board. Here's one of my draft crushes here. Max Ihanakor. All right, tough name, right? He dominated the Senior Bowl, got the Senior Bowl bonus. Going into Senior Bowl week, he was ranked 71st on the consensus big board. He has probably risen since then, I would imagine. The PFF big board had him at 118. If you could get him at 52, I would be okay with that. Now, if you go back to Jennings Donker, many people are seeing him, right? They're seeing him as an interior offensive lineman. If that's the case, and you can move Jennings Donker around on the inside, notice I didn't say flip sides. But if he played left tackle predominantly, keep him on the left side. Maybe that is your replacement for Aaron Banks. What if you got that at 52, you moved on from Aaron Banks, and then you tried to get a center in the third or fourth round, or you go in free agency and get Tyler Linderbaum? If you approached it that way, really, really like how the offensive line would have improved there. And again, if anything is in the turquoise here, you can find in our Patreon group. We've already got prospect profiles created over there, a full scouting report on those that are marked, and we'll continue to get more of those out to you guys. So that's just a quick glance at how the offensive tackle position looks in the draft in terms of the guys on our board and where they line up. So that's how we're looking at this Jordan Morgan situation. And I want to know, I'm curious to know what the chat thinks about this. How do you guys feel about where we're at here with Jordan Morgan? And do you want him to play left tackle? Do you want to go try to get another left tackle? Like, how do you see this? Let's see what Solder says in the chat. Assuming they miss on Linderbaum, would you spend $10 million for a free agent pickup, a free agent backup offensive tackle? I would not. I would not, Solder. Not $10 million. What I would do if it were me is I would go try to find Aaron Banks, his replacement, or someone to compete with Aaron Banks, right? That would be my approach. Me personally, I would focus on let Jordan Morgan play left offensive tackle, and it looks like the offensive line will shake out kind of right in your lap when it comes to the draft. I don't think it's a bad idea, Solder. I just don't like the idea of $10 million sitting on the bench, right? Especially when your starter is sitting at $4 million. If you want to go out and spend $10 million on someone who's going to compete at a starting position, I like it. Doesn't sound bad to me at all. But in terms of a backup spot, it's a little tough for me. It's a little tough for sure. So there you go, guys. That's the information on Jordan Morgan in the left tackle position. I'm curious to know what everybody thinks. Let's take the conversation to the comments. Make sure you hit us up in there. Do you like Jordan Morgan being the left tackle of the future? Would you rather them go draft the left tackle of the future? Would you rather them go into free agency? Maybe you agree with Solder. Go get a veteran backup. However you see it, let us know in the comments how you feel about the situation. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future live streams. Like last night when things went completely off the rail, we had a full house, this morning as well. So make sure you guys are staying up to date on the channel. We'll get you as much information out as we possibly can, and we will continue to get you breaking news as it comes in. So we're out, guys. Appreciate everybody swinging through. Spin those laces, hit that like button. My name's Clayton. This is PTA. Go Pack Go.
We out.
Bye, guys.